This is Mohan.
Okay, hi Mohan. Okay, anyone else in the call apart from three? Nicholas, Mohan, and Ganapati. That's it. Okay. Right. So we have already seen the demo, like what is an EWM and how does an EWM behaves and all. But before we directly move into this systems, actually we have to create the basic org structure, like our plant, like our storage locations, and we need to have our purchase organizations and all. So for all our the basic org structure, so such that we will be able to create the rest of the things. Okay. Now, in order to do such things, we'll first have to create this. Okay, so let me create that particular org structure, guys. Probably I believe everyone knew like what is a plant and what is an company code and what is the storage locations and all. So I don't need to give an explanation on that, I guess. Is that okay? Ganapati or Mohan and Nicholas, everyone?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, yes, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
It's fine, Sriram. Is it the first session?
Yeah, first session. Yeah, tell me.
Okay, fine. I just
Yeah.
want to confirm.
Yeah, because last class, I mean, like, it's not a class as well. It's just a demo. What we have seen, I'm not sure who else are there in the demo session. That's the reason.
I was there in last demo.
So it was just only an overview what I've given that. So now, as being we are dealing with this particular embedded systems, like what we are trying to do is we are trying to have both ERP and as well as EWM in the same instance. So first thing is we need to talk about the integration part. So in order to have this integration part here, this is the place where the basis will come into the picture normally, and they will be integrating your systems. But however, if we will not be doing all this integration things and all, but we should have an idea of what exactly we were doing there, at least. Okay, now I'll take 46. So we'll make use of this particular WM46 as our particular org structure base, and then we will proceed further as our plant and our warehouse and everything. Okay. All right. However, we still will be creating one ERP warehouse number. This is still is required actually. Okay, as of now. Sorry. Why do we require this ERP warehouse number? The very first thing. Any idea to anyone? Hello. Mohan or Anyone, guys? Ganapati.
Actual operations is happening at the EWM warehouse only, right? So we need to
Yeah,
connect the EWM warehouse to the plant.
I'm talking about the ERP warehouse number. Why do we require an ERP warehouse number? It's not generally required, right? But why? There's one reason. There should be something, right? So we should not be creating all this. What do you say, that ERP warehouse number, because we are not performing our warehouse operations in no more in WM, right? It's only about the EWM, guys, right? Agree? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is a concept for that even actually. So however, as I've copied it from another existing plant and also all the storage locations has come into the picture, fine. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create this SLOCs. Okay. So ideally, for connecting to an EWM system normally, we can make use of two different storage locations. One is about 1030, which is receive on dock. The other one is about available for the sale. Okay. We can also have an one storage location also. That is also possible. That why? Because we will see it in the maybe in the sessions. I'll tell you what is the significance of it. But as of now, as per the SAP standard practice, we will be going ahead with two different storage locations. Okay. I'm just creating the purchasing organizations and all. So we know this will be helpful for our purchasing things and all. That's the reason I'm just creating this. And we need another shipping point also. Fine, I will use that. For WM46, right? Okay. I'm just copying it from the standard ones, guys. That's it, okay? To have our own things. There's nothing I'm trying to do here. So I've just created some of the few org structures and all. So now I'll try to assign this, okay? So assign plan to the company code. So I'll be taking the standard one basically. Plant is WM46. This is the one we have taken. Okay, we have, okay, I've copied it. So that's the reason it is taking WM01 and all. Fine, I'll just leave it as it is. So it's okay. Assign purchasing organization. Okay, company code is WM01 I've taken. Okay.
Yeah,
So this
sorry,
is what
can I ask you a question?
yeah,
Please.
tell me. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I saw you copying the warehouse. No, the plant they copy it from the 45 WM maybe 45, but WM 45 from where you copy it already.
Okay, that's a standard one where I've copied it from 1000 or 1010. Okay, you
Okay,
can
no
copy
problem.
it
Okay,
because
thanks.
yeah, fine.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, yeah. Because this is an IDA system, right? So I'm not sure whether people have all the settings in that. So that's the reason I've copied to my existing one. If you see this, I was trying to create an plant, storage location, and a warehouse number. But ideally, this warehouse number is not an EWM warehouse number. If you see that, this is just an normal ERP warehouse number. So why am I doing this? Basically, there is a significance for that even. So, okay, assign shipping point to the plant. Okay. These menus are there. I think I've copied out. Okay, I'll come back 1 second. Wait, that is not that important to me as of now. So now I've told you that there are two things which we are talking about. One is about the integration part, and the other one is about your master data. Now, when it comes to your integration part, whether it could be a decentralized one or whether it could be an embedded one, the normal thing is we will be having the settings of the basics one. I mean, like the basic settings, as I said, which we'll have to configure now. Now, if you see this, we used to have below the logistics execution in the embedded systems, we never used to have this XM extended warehouse management and all. But in the embedded, we are able to see it now. However, the very first thing is if you see integration with other SAP components here, if you can see this. So this is the place where we'll be coming and we will be assigning or we'll be integrating with a third-party systems actually. Okay. That's how we have our own thing, which is an extended warehouse management. Now, if you can see this, there are three different nodes here. One is about basic settings for your system landscape, basic settings for your data transfer, and basic settings for your EWM linkage. So the first two settings, whatever we are trying to see, these are the ones where only the basics guys will be doing, because the basics guys have to define your logical systems and all. But before I come here, let me first explain you what is a functional thing we have to do. So if you say this, there is something called as a configure SAP EWM specific parameters. Okay, so what does that really helps us? Okay, now other thing I want to show you. Now, if you can say this, any of the org structure in the EWM, what I'm discussing about here, you see that you'll be having a plant at which we have created it as WM46, and we will be requiring two different storage locations. However, two storage locations are not mandatory in the EWM system. We can even make use of one storage location also, which I'll see that later. So receive on dock and the other one is available for the sale. So that's the reason I've created 1030 and as 1040. Now we have assigned this to an ERP warehouse number, right? This is what we have seen so far, Mohan and Ganapati and Nicholas, right? This is what we have seen. Agree so far. Now, yes. Why are we doing this as of now? Because why can't we directly connect the EWM warehouse to the existing storage locations? Why are we using this ERP warehouse number as a barrier? The reason is that the reason is because we do not have the privilege of assigning the EWM warehouse directly to your plant or to your storage locations in the system. So that's the reason what we do is we will create one ERP warehouse number which acts as a dummy warehouse only. There is no such org structure we'll be creating in that, and will not perform any of such operations as well in that. However, that particular warehouse number whatever we have created of W46, basically, you can see that we will be telling to the system like what kind of a warehouse is that. Okay, whether it is a local warehouse management, which is your ERP versions one, and the decentralized warehouse management, or an extended warehouse management. So based out of this setting, we will decide to your ERP warehouse that, okay, this warehouse will act as a barrier to the EWM system. Now, there is another option also, which is a decentralized warehouse management. So any idea like what is a decentralized warehouse management? Anyone?
Yeah, lean warehouse or external warehouse. Is that right? That means another system of warehouse management like Manhattan or something similar, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Is that right or not?
Not a Manhattan one, but it's a kind of the same warehouse management which we will be using it in a different instance. But however, it's of the same SAP system only, but where you'll be having your warehouse operations in a different system, basically. Okay, that we'll call it
Yeah.
as a decentralized systems normally. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in our case, as being we are not using the decentralized system and we are not using the local warehouse management, what are we using here? We are using an option of an extended warehouse management. So what we do here, this particular warehouse, whatever we have, we will be using it as an extended warehouse management, the very first setting. Okay. And after that, we see that distribute immediately at document creation. So what does that mean? Means as soon as any of the deliveries that you create in the ERP system, whether it could be your inbound deliveries or your outbound deliveries or in your production deliveries or whatever, or your posting changes or your S-log to S-log transfers, any of these documents, whatever you create in the ERP system, you would like to have that particular documents to be triggered directly to the EWM system. That is what we have something called as a distribute immediately at the document creation, the first setting. Okay, and if you do not want to have the distribution happen, then we will make it as a stop distributions in some of the upgrade systems. And so when you're trying to upgrade it from 7.0 to some other versions, actually, then that point of time we'll make sure that we'll stop the distribution because we don't want to have the deliveries to be reflected in the EWM system. So we'll stop it and then we'll take it. Okay, that's one thing. So as of now, it's only one thing which we have is distribute immediately. Okay. However, we have another thing which is nothing but communication. What kind of a communication? Earlier, like in the previous versions, we used to have a multiple options like QRFC, TRFCs, and so many things, which is a transactional RFC and this is a queued remote RFCs and all. However, but now we are just making use of only one option, which is nothing but QRFC because TRFCs and all has been removed in the recent versions. Okay, in the 7.0 versions and in another version in 9.0 as well, I believe, yeah, which is there. We have another thing called as a TRFCs and all, but now it is not required. It's only one method, which is a queued and serialized RFC. That's only the thing. So the very first thing which we need to make sure is for our particular warehouse, we have to make sure that it is an EWM and we will be making sure that the distribute immediately at the document creation and the communication method. It's queued and a serialized RFC. Any questions to me? So to anyone guys here? I'm sorry.
Here in distribution mode, if you stop it, after some time, if you enable it, whatever the delta documents only will be transferred to the EWM.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, because the distribution will be happening at three different places. One is about at this particular node, and there is another one which is at the document level, and manually also we can do that. So with that, anyhow, we will come back again. Okay, I'll show you during your transactional sessions and all. Okay, so that's three different things what we have here. Okay, extended warehouse management, distribution mode, and this one. However, this was the future which I was telling you that okay, we do have the other options like undetermined checks, a batch determination in the EWM and GR from EWM. This is for the production integration and this is for the batches, and we do have for the unchecked. So there are significance for that, but as of now, I'll not be coming back to this because when we go further, then I'll come back to this, because then that point of time we will understand what is the significance of these three nodes. Now coming to this particular option, which is the delivery change, where in earlier versions, as I told you, that we do not have this at all, because as soon as a delivery gets transferred from an ERP to the EWM system, we do not have the privilege of changing the quantities, or we do not have the option of changing your batches or your text items, or okay, whatever it is. But once we flag this particular option, we will be able to change the delivery quantities and all the stuff in the ERP system. In EWM, yes, at any point of time you can change it. That's not at all a concern. Using the picking exceptions and all, or whatever exceptions we have, we can do that. But in the ERP one, once it is distributed to the WMS system, we do not have the option to distribute that. You're getting my point?
Yes, Sriram. You
Yeah.
are getting.
Yeah, can I ask you a question here? Do you mean an ERP does mean in the end of the day we will work on S4HANA, that's right? S4HANA and EWM, that's right? I mean, my goal today is to have a training in embedded warehouse management. Is
This
that
is
right?
an
Is the end
embedded
of the
warehouse management only.
yeah?
We're
Okay,
trying to
perfect.
see that, because that's the reason I've shown you that. I'm trying to show you this. If you can see this, only in the embedded systems, I mean, like in the S4 systems only. Where is that?
Yeah.
We will be
Okay,
having this SCM as an extended warehouse management and the transportation management. If it is not an S4 systems, we will not have these two nodes available there. You can see this, okay? The complete nodes are available here. So this is an S4. If it is a normal ERP system, we will not have this at all. Okay.
Okay.
So in my terminology, if it is an ERP in the sense, it's an S4. Okay, Milaki. Because I'm trying to compare, though the EWM has been embedded in the S4 system, still we are treating this as an external system only, right? Because if it is a normal warehouse management, if it is a normal WM, we do not do these settings at all, because you're still integrating with other SAP components. So what does that refers to then? We are still treating that EWM as an external system, and still we are moving ahead. You're getting my point?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for
no problem. Yeah. So this is
Sriram, one thing. If someone is using, speaker without headphones, I think it is better recommendable to use earphones. Its echo is coming actually. Twice the voice is coming.
Okay.
Maybe some attendees might be using the loudspeaker without using earphone.
Okay, maybe. Because if someone is there, please try to use that, right? Okay.
It's a request, please.
No problem. Yeah. So this is the first setting which we have done here, guys. Okay, what is that? Basic settings for the system landscape. Sorry, not the system landscape. EWM linkage. Okay. Now, queue transfer. Okay, we do have an queue transfers and all. Like, what is the purpose of this? I'll come back to this. Okay, because before that, I have to tell you what is logical systems and all. So I'll come back to this. Now, there is something called as a distribution model. What is this distribution model? But however, we need to understand two things, that what kind of a data we will be transferring to the EWM system. Like what kind of data we would be having it here, guys. One could be your transactional data, the other one could be your master data, right? Apart from this, do you think that we'll have any other data here, guys? No, right? We'll be having only these two data, right? One is about your master data and the other one is about your transactional data. Agree? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I'm talking about the master data, normally we used to have something called as an integration model. That is nothing but your core interface, where we will be using this integration model and we will be transferring it. But in the S4 systems, we will not use the integration model, which is nothing but the core interface. As we have it in the same system, we're not using it. But still, we have the distribution model in place. So what is this distribution model? This distribution model is nothing but this will be helpful for us in order to transfer your transactional data. such as your inbound deliveries, such as your outbound deliveries, or your production deliveries, or whatever the deliveries you are trying to create, it will be having the standard BAPIs in the backend, and that will help us to take our respective data to the EWM system. The very first thing. Okay, so in order to have the distribution model, basically we haven't created this for our warehouse, but let's see for the other warehouses what happens here. You see this, there would be like 6 kind of things, like you see that. I'm just taking for the normal standard one. Okay, for the outbound we have a delivery change, request change, and a save replica. Delivery change, save replica, and the stage WM parts. So basically, these are the standard BAPIs what we have, and we will be making use of it. So this will help us to transfer the data. I mean, like what data? The transactional data again to our EWM systems. Okay, so this is a mandatory thing which we need to make sure of it. Okay, and again, this would be a client specific. So make sure that, guys. Okay, when you're trying to perform this in your production environment or somewhere, I mean, like sometimes these are all the part of your cutover activities again, so which is a client specific related one. Okay, but before I go that, we have something called as a logical system. Now comes to the basic settings actually. So what is this logical systems basically? Okay, we need to know about that. So I'm coming back to this first note, basic settings of the system landscape. So one is about the logical system. So logical system is nothing but this is the naming convention of the system what we are trying to do here, because ideally we are trying to deal with 2 different systems. Though it is an embedded one, we are trying to have to, and we are trying to deal this with 2 different systems. What are those? One would be your ERP system, the other one would be your EWM system. Agree? Hello?
Agree.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
yeah, so what we are trying to do here, how would I know to which system I have to interact, right? Because there would be multiple systems and multiple third-party tools, and there will be multiple integrations would be done in the real times. But how would I know that I have to interact to them? So interaction in the sense what I'm trying to do here. So normally when you're trying to interact with me, you're just calling me with some name and I'm calling with you with some name, right? So there would be some kind of an identification which we are trying to interact. The same way, even for the systems, we will be having something called as a logical system. So if you see this, the system BP1400, what is that? So that's a logical system, and that's a name what was given to the S4 system. Okay, so BP1 CLNT 400, let's go like that. And we no need to create this, guys. This is all the basis related activities. We no need to do that. It's only for the sake of our understanding. I'm just trying to show you. If you try to delete or if you try to modify this, then that's it. We have to do it from the scratch again. So don't touch these settings at all. Okay. If you see this, BP1 CLNT 400. So this is a logical system which we have defined for the S4 system. Means if you see that 400 is a client number and BP1 is a name, that's some kind of a naming conventions, whatever they have given. First thing, the same way, even for the EWM one also, we do have another name, which is nothing but T41 something we would be having it. If you see this T41 EWM 400, okay, so this is the one which we are trying to interact with the EWM one. Clear, guys?
Yeah,
Any
it's
questions
clear.
here? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Now what we are trying to do, so but this is all not our part, guys. Don't worry about that. Okay, assign logical system to the, even in the real time we will not even have the access to these settings also. SM59 BD64 and all these things, we will not even have the authorizations to create such kind of things. Now 400 is my client. Agree? So for this 400, what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to assign, someone has changed. Okay, BP1 CLNT 400. So we are trying to assign the 400 client to these things and automatic recording. So let's ignore that. So this is one thing which we are doing. Now we have to understand now what is a logical system. So you know what is a logical system now. right? It's nothing but it's the naming convention of your systems, whether it could be your source system or whether it could be your target system. Getting it, guys? The same way, we will try to set up the RFC destinations. So RFC destinations, in the sense what, we will try to integrate our ERP, means the S4 system, to your EWM system. That one. So T41 I've said, right? If you see this T41, okay, you can click on this connection test and you can see how the connections are working or not. You can see that the logon is happening through every 9 milliseconds or 1 millisecond and everything. Okay, and the same way, if you click on this remote logon, it will normally log on and it will take you to the target system. But here, as being we have been in the same instance, there's no point. Normally remote logon, in the sense it will take you to the target system. So again, these kind of settings and all will be done by your basic guys. Okay, so this is a setting. If you want to remember this transaction, this is SM59 transaction, guys. Okay, if you want to remember that. So this is all the prerequisites in order to make sure that our system is working, at least if you want to even recheck that and all. So these are the ones which we will be making use of it. Okay, now, however, we have some things called as the basic settings for data transfer, which we might not be touching at this stage. We might come back again. But here, these are all the things normally when we were using it on the EWMs in the decentralized one, because these are all the parameters which we'll be using, like change pointers and transfer data changes and all. But here we do not require the change pointers and all. Why? Because the data is no need to transfer. I mean, like the master data, that's not required to transfer here. Okay, now what I'm trying to do here, generate distribution model. So one thing is, this distribution model, as being we have already created many warehouses and we have many things are there, as being it's an idle system, we will be making use of the existing one only. Okay, if you want to create a new one, you can create it, but normally in a system it is suggestible to have only one distribution model. We cannot have a multiple distribution models. Okay, now W46, okay, and the logical system of an SAP EWM1. So what is a EWM1? T41, right? Because that's your target system. Agree? And the distribution model is EWM. So for the first time, guys, whenever the first time you're trying to create or when you're trying to implement of this EWM in any of the systems, this distribution model, you can just give whatever the name you want. Okay, and then you can create it. The system will create it automatically. Okay, now if I try to create these entries, you see that EWM, okay, has come up with these settings, and which is for that delivery for 3 and inbound delivery for 2 and 1 for the stage WM paths. This stage WM paths has come into the picture from 9.3 version. So for anyway 9.2 also we do have. From 9.3 we have this actually. Okay, this production material request. Earlier we don't have this. Okay, now you can see that for our particular warehouse, whatever we are trying to see here, okay, we have created it. Means what we have done here, delivery change, request change, save replica, and stage WM paths. Now, if in case in the real time, if you don't know what kind of a distribution model we were using and how to make use of it and all, in case of a normal thing, you can go to this transaction of BT64, okay. Someone has created EWM client. I don't know what is this. EXP. See. Okay. BP1 EWM 400. This is another client they've created. What warehouses they have. Okay, fine. You try to make use of this one, guys. EWM dummy logical system, whatever we are trying to do. So here, if you scroll down to this, you can see these are all the list of warehouses that we were been using. You see that? Sorry. Now you see this is our warehouse, right? W46. Agree, guys? This is what we have created just now. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how we can even check. Now, as I said that there are 6 messages you'll be having, right? You see this. Manufacturing order stage EWM system, inbound delivery, outbound delivery. Okay. So these are all the ones, the BAPIs, as I said, right? Which will help us in order to transfer the data. Okay, the inbound delivery change, the manufacturing order, save replica. So these are all the standard 6 BAPIs which will help us to transfer the data from ERP to the EWM system. Clear, or any questions here so far?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Apart from that, okay, we do not have such, because this data transfer, this node, we are not using it that in the S4 systems. But if in case if it is a decentralized system, then we can have the significance of that. That is not required as of now. Okay. However, okay, probably there is nothing as much that we can define in the S4 system, means the ERP system. So now we have to go to the EWM system, and then we have to start creating our own data, such as your warehouse and your master data. And the first thing is we will start finishing of this integration part. Okay, and then we will move it to the master data creation, such as your storage types or storage type roles or your whatever it is. We'll then start creating in that. Okay. Any questions, guys? So far, I mean, like we just started.
No.
Probably.
Thanks.
Yeah. Fine then. Okay. So this creation of this master data of the EWM. Okay. Probably if I start now also, I'll not be finishing it because I have only another 10-15 minutes. So I'll start creating this master data of the EWM in tomorrow's session. If you're having any doubts, please let me know, guys. If not, we'll catch up tomorrow, and then we'll start creating the master data in the EWM, and then we'll finish off this integration part first, and then we'll go to the master data of the EWM one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Then okay. So let's catch up tomorrow, and then we will see the integration part of the EWM one. Okay, and then we'll see that accordingly. Okay, guys. Okay then. Thank you, guys. Then. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.